Hey gamers, Gecko here. Of course, the day that I don't stream and the day that I have plans in the evening is the day where Arc System Works releases a little bit of footage of Jam in an actual match. Just a fucking course it is! Basically 2 matches, one of Jam versus Nago and one of Jam versus Kai. You can find the link down below. I've already watched it, so there's no point in me giving a reaction, but I have tried to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to reveal as many of the changes on these characters as I can. Of course, there's going to be a lot of Jam news in this, since this is our first look at her actual gameplay. But before that, I want to go over a couple of the general gameplay changes I've noticed, so we can see the direction that the patch is going in. For those of you who are a little bit worried, there is one big change in here that makes me really hopeful for the future. The link to the gameplay footage will be down below, but I'll splice in as much of it that's relevant to what I'm saying in here as I can. To begin with, a couple of small things. The game now tells you if you actually get a chip kill or a regular kill. Really nice for people who might be a little bit confused on why they died. Some people don't naturally know that there's chip damage in the game, so the game just telling them, hey, you got chipped out, is going to be a good way for them figuring out how to deal with situations like that. It's also just a nice way to know how you lost the round. Did you get hit by the mix-up, or did you forget to have D in? Who knows? IBFD has also seemingly got a new, slightly flashier effect on it. You sort of do this green expansion anytime you IBFD. The players in this were IBing and IBFDing a lot, and I'm not sure if that's because they want to show that they've made the windows easier to hit, or if these players are just actually pretty good. They definitely seem to know what they're doing. This is way better than like the Sin gameplay we got years ago when that character was coming out. These players seemingly actually know how to play the game, so there's a lot of nice things there. But the biggest one I was able to tell from the general gameplay changes is that positive bonus has been altered a little bit. Raw positive bonus itself, the one that you get from Gold Burst or from doing a lot of special moves in a row while the opponent blocks, yes, that is a way that you can get positive bonus, seems to be the same, but post-break positive bonus seems to have been not gutted, but definitely neutered. There's several times where people will break the wall and they'll get positive bonus, but then don't immediately start generating meter. They get a chunk of meter at the end of the positive bonus, but it seems like to begin with, the positive bonus only gives you extra meter from anything you would already do that gives you the meter. I'm not entirely sure how this works 100%. Part of me theorizes that supers now have negative meter gain, similar to how Roman cancels have. So if you've ever YRC'd and not gotten a bunch of meter, it's because the game punishes you for using that move and trying to build more meter. And there's a lot of times where they'll use an RC and a super to break the wall, and that's seemingly causing them to lose a bunch of meter. But there's also times where they seemingly just break the wall raw and they don't get a lot of meter back from it. There's definitely a massive change here, and it means that snowballing people is going to be a lot harder now. One of the biggest problems that Strive had was if someone got a wall break on you, they were basically guaranteed to get back most of the meter that they spent breaking the wall. Sometimes even more if they didn't even spend any. Super wall breaks would lead to the situation where a character gets a free mix-up on you, and then when that mix-up hits, they get another super wall break on you. Characters like Happy Chaos were able to abuse this like crazy. So with this nerf, it seems like that's not going to be anywhere near as prevalent now. And you're going to have to work a lot harder if you want to get multiple super wall breaks in a row, which I like. Again, the general gameplay changes look pretty good. I kind of fuck with them. No Wild Assault makes the gameplay look a lot cleaner, just in general. They don't show any counter blitz in this, but again, it seems like these players kind of know what they're doing, and counter blitz seems more like a mechanic aimed at newer players. But so far, it looks pretty good. So let's go on to one of the characters that we can learn about that isn't Jam. Nago had a pretty short section here. His matches were the shortest with Jam, and it generally seemed like they were just sort of showing off more of the general features about both of the characters. We do get to see his new mode a little bit in action, though. We see that he goes into it after whiffing the new move, and the new move has, like, no recovery. He slams the sword into the ground and immediately goes into a 5H. There's very little time where he's going back into neutral and doing anything. Once he does that, though, he's able to use a couple of Fukios that don't cost any blood, and he immediately gets a bite, but then he keeps himself kind of in that mode. It's a little bit hard to tell what has changed. It might just be that he can't go back into that mode maybe for the rest of the match. Maybe he needs to get his blood even lower so we can go back into it. Still a lot of question marks around the new move and the new mode from Nago, as well as the fact that we don't see a normal bite. He goes for a standard bite, but it completely whiffs because Jam just jumps over it. So there's still quite a few question marks around Nago, but it does seem like he's going to be able to manipulate his blood gauge a little bit more, and that new move does look very useful, especially considering the fact that there's very little recovery time on it. We'll have to see, though. The patch notes will tell us all. So, as for Kai, despite having the longer section, there's actually less to really talk about. The new move is pretty much what we expected. It has very long recovery time, but it's managed to catch people in the air, as well as apply a little bit more pressure at further ranges. It applies Shock State on hit and block. Nothing really too interesting with the new move. It's pretty much exactly what we expected. The one big change I did see from Kai that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is Fudrark now applies Shock State. So there's several times during the match where Kai Fudrarks, and then Jam is in Shock State after it hits or after she blocks it. That's going to be super fucking annoying. Considering the fact that Fudrark is already kind of used for high-low pressure, adding Shock State to it so that once he gets that, he's going to be able to HDP and get a massive combo on it is going to be super fucking annoying. But I'm sure it's a change that Kai players will enjoy. Fucking everything gives him shock now, man. Everything. Skondip is going to give him shock next. Like, fucking everything gives him goddamn shock. And that's all the general stuff I could find. I am being a little bit on the safe side. There were a couple of things I thought I might have noticed, but considering the fact that the UK player base has a history of gaslighting themselves, I decided to keep it just to things that I absolutely know for certain, as well as the things that I'm not quite sure on. I added a heavy dose of skepticism with. But we finally get to talk about Jam, and there is so much to dig into here. She looks really fun. She's extremely expressive in every single one of the animations that she has. We see both of her win animations. One of them is just her arguing with Usagi, and they're like really going at each other. It's really funny, as well as her having a unique outro depending on who she fights. I think that's a really nice touch. Jam has always been a character who likes to flirt with any pretty boy that shows up her way, so having that say in her character, it's nice, it's fun, I really like it. The new stage as well is absolutely beautiful. It's not her shop. I think it is just a, like, Chinese dining area, but it's very nice, very cool. I fuck with it heavy. It looks so cool. I hope it runs well. I really, really hope it runs well. But there's a couple of things that we can immediately see in her gameplay. Her flip move thing seems to be able to be not only cancelled into normals, but also specials. It's kind of hard to tell because the low sometimes looks like it's going from the flip. So I think she's able to do the flip and then cancel into either the overhead or the low to make them really ambiguous with each other. It's very hard to say, though. I'm obviously not used to seeing the animations of this character, but I think she's able to cancel into both. It's not shown if she can cancel it into Dragon Kick. I would assume if she could have canceled into both of those, then she would also be able to cancel into Dragon Kick. But again, take it with a pinch of salt. You can definitely cancel a flip move into the overhead, though. She does it several times to adjust the position of the overhead. We see the gauge that shows all three of our empowered moves. We only see two of the empowered moves. We don't see the empowered overhead, unfortunately, but each of them only has one charge. The normal one has orange flames, and the empowered one has blue flames, and they all seem to have different special properties. Again, we don't see the overhead, so I can't really comment on that one, but we do see the low and the Dragon Kick. The low on its own is seemingly a pretty good move. They show it being safe to 2Ks, so it's definitely not massively negative. It might be like -5 or -4, so it's punishable with throws or really fast-hitting buttons, but you can't 2K punish it, so people aren't going to get a massive punish on you no matter what. Unless they're a grappler and it is like -3 or something. It also has like super low recovery. She uses it in neutral once and then immediately just goes back to doing stuff. It like kind of shocked me. I didn't even notice it happened until I watched it a couple of times, where she just whiffs it and acts like nothing happened. But the empowered version, is actually plus on block. She hits it against Nago and she doesn't seemingly get anything special from it. She might be able to get a small like punch combo from it, but she gets kind of block it and she gets a close slash counter hit. So the empowered version is going to be really, really good for pressure. Seemingly not that good for combos, though I'm sure you'll be able to find some way to get it to combo. But yeah, blocking that and frame trapping into close slash is going to be something that absolutely hits people on day one. I'm so ready to cheese people out with that. Her normal dragon kick, I don't even know if it's actually shown, but her empowered one actually has a special state. To begin with, it's 2 hits. The second hit actually causes an explosion that immediately breaks the wall if you're at the wall. No wall stick required. You just immediately go through the wall if you're in the corner with the empowered dragon kick. Not sure how it's going to be for her snowball game, considering the fact that post-wall break positive bonus has seemingly been nerfed. And also the fact that she doesn't get a wall stick means that she's not really going to be able to empower herself as much with the empowered dragon kick. But it does have a massive, massive upside. When she uses empowered dragon kick, you can't burst. I checked, every time she uses the empowered dragon kick, you are locked out of burst. You are not able to get out of her combo while she is empowered dragon kicking you. I don't think there's any strike special move in Strive that shares this property that isn't also a super. Obviously, command throws and normal throws, as well as supers, all have this property already. But I can't think of one that's just a normal special move. Granted, it is empowered, but it's really strong, just locking people out of burst and sending them to the other side of the screen. She's not able to get a full combo from it, but from the looks of it, she's able to get a close slash OTG, which likely means she's probably going to be able to get a safe jump from it. A lot of Jam's game plans seem to be you're either going to be using the knockdown to empower yourself and one of your specials, or you're going to be using a close slash to get a safe jump to continue the pressure that way, which, to be fair, is similar to how her old iterations were. There would be a lot of times with Jam in the previous games where you would forego Oki to empower yourself so that your next sequence would be really strong, but then you have to win neutral again. There is a way around this, though, which I'm very happy to see, because we finally saw her second super. It's seemingly a play on the Orb super with the added benefit of when it hits, every single one of Jam's specials immediately becomes empowered. We don't see much action from it, considering the fact that she kills with a normal straight afterwards. But she does the super, and she gets literally every single power-up that she can get, which is going to be super fucking strong post-wall break. Even without the positive bonus, she's going to have 3 empowered special moves. One of them's plus on block, one of them stops you from bursting, and I don't know what the third one does, but if the other 2 do that, I'm scared. It's going to be very, very cool. She seems to be very sticky, very annoying. Her big step dash is shown to have like variable range because you can go into the button early, which is something you could actually do in the older games as well. You could also just not do anything out of it and go for a throw, which means that like strike throws back on the menu. I'm at home. I went out and I ordered fucking cheesy pasta. I got the same shit I have at home. I'm so fucking happy. Only other thing to note, parry is shown in the trailer, but there's nothing new that we can glean from it. It seems like the follow-up's automatic, just from the way that the parry goes out and they immediately attack, which, you know, makes sense. It also seems like it still works at about 5 frames, but again, we'll have to see on the patch notes or on the starter guide on how these work. Likely it is we'll know on the specific day how a lot of these things will work. So that's everything I have for you. Let me know how you feel about these changes in the comment section down below. And let me know if there's anything I missed, because there's a lot in these gameplays, and there's definitely stuff that I looked at and didn't want to try and gaslight myself with. The only problem with things like these is when we don't have patch notes. Sometimes you're able to see things that don't happen, but I'm pretty confident in everything that I talked about here. So let me know if there's anything that I missed. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time. Bye-bye!